Spine get nice and tall here. Let's be nice and fluid in the way we're respirating. So we're just as easy as we can be in our seat. Just think about the way that the inhale and exhale are starting and ending. But thinking about the way that we draw our breath in and the way that we're releasing our breath, and asking ourselves if there's anything that we can do to make that softer, to make the way that we're experiencing breath soften. There's this man who's been on this waiting list to see this oracle for years now. And he's just received the notification that he'll be seen. And so there's a certain giddiness and elatedness to the way he's respirating in this moment. But the way we're respirating is about calming things down. Probably the way he should have been respirating too. We'll give ourselves just 15 more seconds here. Just feeling the way the breath is entering and exiting the body. And then when it feels appropriate for you, let's take our hands together at heart center and we'll just interlace the fingers so that we have a nice soft connection here, like we're holding a butterfly in between the hands, but we're trying to keep it in there. And then with your next inhale, let's take the arms up and overhead. So it's an inhale and up. And an exhale will come right back down to heart center. Now we're gonna go as far to the left as we can with an inhale. So it's an inhale up and to the left. Sorry, I should have said up and to the left. And then relax back to center. And then we'll go as far to the right, up and to the right as we can go. And we'll relax back to center. Now we're gonna go straight left. So it would have been accurate if I said that the first time, as far left as we can go. So we'll inhale and then exhale back to center. And then to the right, inhale. And exhale back to center. Turn your palms, keep the fingers interlaced, but turn your palms away from you and just inhale, arms out in front of you. Now keep the arms out in front of you and exhale and just squeeze the scapula back. And then we'll keep the hands where they are, keep the shoulders where they are, inhale and let the arms reach up and overhead. Arms may not go fully overhead here, depending on your shoulder mobility in the moment. And then we'll exhale and release the hands to our side, to our legs, to a released, relaxed position. And just take 2 rounds of breath here, trying to feel the capacity of the chest cavity. When it feels appropriate, let's transition to hands and knees tabletop. So as we come into our tabletop position here, splay the fingers out nice and wide. Think about that connection that our hands are making with the mat. And let's curl our toes, lift our seat, and find down dog. A little moment to explore here. You can pedal this out if that feels good. And then we're going to come back down to tabletop. And with an exhale, round the back, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. A little flexion, articulation. Think about really squeezing the arch here as much as you can get out of this shape, really rounding the back. And then we'll inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin, lift the tailbone. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin, lift the tailbone. And let's just move through these two versions of spinal articulation at our own breath. Really thinking about exploring the edges of possibility here. Just really working through our capacity to mobilize the spine, thinking about how we can push the end range of motion and then just soften into a little bit more depth. When you feel complete, let's come back to a neutral spinal alignment and give a little lateral sway for the hips. And then tailbone will eventually come back to neutral. We'll curl our toes and lift our seat once again. Finding down dog. See if there's more room this version through. And then let's walk forward to the front of the mat. We'll inhale into half lift. And exhale back into fold. Let your body release into this fold. Drift your awareness to your sacrum and we'll roll ourselves up vertebrae by vertebrae. Eventually finding our way to a nice sturdy mountain. And really giving ourselves the opportunity to just land in mountain. Splay the toes out. Think about how rooted we can be here. And then let's bring our hands together at heart center. And take the elbows out so that they're roughly parallel with the floor. And then with an exhale, just twist to your left. Big, full, deep rotation. And then keeping the elbows where they are, we'll come back to neutral. Once again, think about settling and grounding here. Easy to allow the asymmetry of that twist to kind of make us off center, but land back in mountain. And then we'll exhale and twist to the right. We'll relax back to neutral. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale through fold. Inhale into half lift. Long, expansive spine here. Exhale back into your fold space. Plant your hands and slide your left foot straight back into lunge. And then we'll sweep our arms up and overhead with an inhale. Little crescent. As you rise into this shape, don't just get the lift. Lift and then sink all the way back into the possibility of that calf musculature. And then we'll float the hands down to the mat. Step the left foot forward, find fold, inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Slide the right foot straight back into lunge. Sweep the arms up and overhead into crescent. It's not just the lift, it's the lift and then the sink all the way back into that right calf musculature. Really trying to feel the high calf turn on and activate. And then we'll sweep the arms back down to the mat. Step forward into fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Drift your awareness to your sacrum. Let's roll ourselves up vertebrae by vertebrae. We're coming back into mountain. Landing in the stability of mountain and bring our hands together, heart center. Slide your left foot straight back into lunge. Ground your left heel and rotate the torso so that we have torso in warrior two. Make sure that that front toe doesn't come in with you, that we stay externally rotated in that hip. And just keep the hands right where they are. Squeeze the scapula back until you feel the shoulder girdle activate. So we're really pulling the scapula back. Splaying the fingers out may help capture more of that shoulder tissue. And then we're going to spin the left heel up, spin the torso towards the front of your room or mat, sweep the arms to crescent, drop the hands to heart center, and we'll step to the front of the mat. Hands stay at heart center, right foot slides straight back. Right heel grounds and we turn the torso, warrior two. Hands stay right where they are. Squeeze the scapula back until you feel the shoulder girdle turn on, activate. Splaying the fingers may help make that possible. Just check in with your front foot, make sure it's pointed straight forward. We'll turn the torso, lift the back heel, sweep the arms into crescent, and then drop the hands and step to the front of the mat. Relax into your mountain pose. Squeeze the glutes a little bit so you get that activation and lift. Sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale through forward fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Plant your hands. We'll walk our way back into down dog. Come down to hands and knees, tabletop. Flip the tops of the feet and sink your way back into child's pose. So this man is kind of like giddily walking up to the oracle's home. And he gets inside, the oracle greets him, and he kind of starts sputtering. He kind of starts just throwing out everything. But he lands on this idea that he feels lost in life. And then he starts to continue on, and the oracle, she puts up her hand like, that's enough. And then she just goes quiet for an uncomfortably long amount of time. And then she finally says, "Do you know this road?" And the man does. It's very close to his house, but it's not really a road. And she says, "You need to follow that road. It'll take you exactly where you want to go." And the man's heart sinks as he hears this. When it feels appropriate for you, let's slide our hands back in front of us if they're not already there. And then we'll pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. And from hands and knees tabletop, let's curl our toes, lift our seat, and find our way into down dog. Relax your hips back into the step. And then let's slowly lift our way up onto our toes. And as you come up onto your toes, the weight shifts more forward in your hands. Fight that. So you're coming up onto the toes, push back and energize, and keep the weight energizing back from your hands as you walk your way forward on your toes, so that there's just a ton of strength in the hands, almost like you're just going to kick up into a handstand. And then release the heels and roll or sweep your way up into mountain. And we'll bring our hands together at heart center. And land here. Splay the toes out on both feet so that you have as much connection as you can with your mat. And then let's slide our right foot straight back into lunge. Wiggle that foot back maybe an extra inch or so, and then bring your right tricep onto your left thigh. And then squeeze into your right quad so that the right quad is getting as active as can be. And then we'll release the hands down to the mat. Now we have some potential fatigue in that hip flexor on the left side. Keep that in mind as you inhale and sweep yourself up into crescent. There's a little bit of a tendency for the weight to be too far forward because we're not wanting to shift over that hip bump. Really push the weight back here. And then we'll drop the hands to the mat and step forward into fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Roll or sweep your way up into mountain. Hands coming together at heart center. Toes splaying out as wide as you can get them so you have as much contact with the mat as is possible. And we'll slide our left foot straight back into lunge. Wiggle that back maybe that extra inch or so, and then bring your left tricep to your right thigh. Once you get set here, flex the left quad so that you're as strong as you can be in that back leg. Hard to put a ton of weight in that back leg, so we're trying to energize it as much as possible. And then our hands will come down to the mat. Same thing, we may have some hip flexor fatigue. Sweep yourself up into crescent. Be cognizant of that potential fatigue. And make sure you get the weight all the way back there. Float the hands to the mat and we'll step forward into fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Let your spine relax here. Drift your awareness to your sacrum and let's roll or sweep our way up into mountain. Bring our hands together at heart center. Interlace the fingers once again and think about that capturing of the butterfly so that we have full contact, but a very soft contact of our hands. And then we're going to sink our seat back in a chair. Splay the toes out. Think about that soft contact in the hands. And take your right tricep over to your left thigh. And rise back up into mountain. And sink your seat back into chair. Left tricep to right thigh. Push the depth into the spine. We'll rise back into mountain. Sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale through fold.
Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. We'll plant our hands and walk our way back into down dog. Down to hands and knees, tabletop. And once again, flip the tops of the feet, sink your way back into child's pose. Just a little easy fluid breath here. So the reason that this man's heart sank when he heard that is he knows this road, and it used to be a road. It was a road that ran kind of behind all of these buildings on both sides. And people had started to just throw their garbage out behind the back of their buildings. And that had been going on for years and years and years. So this road that used to be was now more or less a garbage dump. No one went there, no one traveled it. And this man getting this news from this oracle had this moment of doubt. Like, does she even know that that's true? Does she ever leave this house? And he doesn't know the answer to that. When it feels appropriate, let's plant our hands and our forearms in front of us so that you have full contact from your elbow to the middle fingertip. And then keep that elbow to middle fingertip rooted in the mat and pull yourself forward so that you end up in kind of like a half dolphin, half child's pose, half tabletop. And then we're going to move our right hand to the center of our mat, bring our left hand to our left hip, and just pull that left shoulder open. Really think about this as the center or the front anterior midpoint of your left shoulder being your guide to open. And then push down into your right forearm so that you get some active lift. And then we'll relax back to that half dolphin shape. And we'll head to side two. Left hand to the middle of the mat. Rooted contact throughout the forearm and hand. Right hand to the hip. Follow that right shoulder into a twist, and then energize down into the left arm so that you actively lift. And we'll relax back to our forearms, plant our hands, and just lift yourself up to tabletop. Now, think about anchoring your sacrum exactly where it is so that it doesn't move. And we're going to start to rock our torso side to side. So imagine your sacrum's anchored and you're just moving the shoulders. Obviously, the spine has to angle to make that possible. One more time in each direction. We'll come back to neutral. Curl our toes, lift our seat, and find our way into down dog. Let's walk our way forward to the front of the mat. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Drift your awareness to your sacrum. We'll roll or sweep our way into mountain. Bring our hands together, heart center. Splaying the toes out as wide as you can get them so that you have as much contact with the mat as is possible. Slide your left foot straight back into lunge. Ground your left heel. Make sure that right foot doesn't follow. Stay wide open there.
Keep the hands at heart center as the torso rotates towards warrior two. And then we're going to let our right forearm find our right thigh. The left arm's going to sit either on the left hip or behind the back. So whatever feels best for the shoulder girdle here. Think about trying to open up across this anterior shoulder girdle. If you're on the hip, you can help by kind of energizing down into the hand as you squeeze that scapula back. If you're behind you, kind of same thing. You can press the back of the hand into the small of the back as you peel the shoulder back. Just trying to bring some activation in that arm strength. And then we'll lift ourselves up into two. Full expression, first time. So as you take your arms out wide, think about sinking into that front quad without losing the torso alignment. And then let's just slide back into the right hamstring. So we're not shifting or adjusting forward. We're just activating the hamstring. And then bring your hands together at heart center. Rebend the front knee. Get all the way into full engagement on that front leg. Left heel spins up. We're into a lunge. And then drop your hands to the mat. And we'll step forward into fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Roll or sweep your way into mountain. Splay the toes as wide as you can. Use that on tack to slide your right foot straight back into lunge. We'll ground the right heel. Make sure you stay open on that front leg. Let's bring our left forearm to our left thigh. And then the hand can either come on the hip or behind you, whatever feels best for your shoulder. Either way, we're bringing a little more activation into the shoulder girdle. And we'll draw ourselves up into two full expression once again. Big, wide shoulder space. Slide the left hamstring back. Keep the torso up vertical. Just feel the activation there. Hands come together at heart center. We'll rebend the front knee. Turn the torso towards the front of your mat or room. So we find this lunge, drop your hands, and we'll step to the front of the mat. Inhale into half lift. Try to feel the lumbar expansion here, sacrum expansion. Exhale back into fold. Roll or sweep your way to mountain. Bring your hands together, heart center. Let's soften that little finger interlace once again. So we come back to that little soft butterfly capture. We'll sink our seat back in a chair. Take our right tricep to our left thigh for a little twist. And then let's once again, I think we did this last week. We're gonna slide our right foot straight back into the revolved twist. Revolved lunge. So the tricky part here is in front of us. And that is going to be the slide back. So that right foot is just going to slide back into our revolved chair. And then we'll rise back up into mountain. As you come back up, note how the glutes and hamstrings may feel pretty different. And try to energize the glutes enough so that we balance out. Let's take this to side two. So soft butterfly grip. Sink your seat back into chair. Left tricep to right thigh. Build the strength of this shape. And then when you're ready, we're going to slide that left foot back. Think about the strength of the left quad like we did the first time we got into this low lunge. And then when it feels appropriate, let's slide back
find your chair. We'll rise back to mountain.
Squeeze the glutes again so that you get that lift. Sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale through fold. Inhale into half lift.
Exhale back into fold. Plant your hands. We'll walk our way into down dog. Just come down to hands and knees, tabletop. We'll flip the tops of the feet and sink our way back into child's pose.
So this man has this desire to ask the oracle a question, but almost as if she knows, she quickly puts her hand up, turns around, and leaves the room. And that's it. This meeting that he waited years for, it starts and ends before he even knows what's happened. And in some ways, he's excited. He got the answer he was looking for. He was told exactly what to do. And in other ways, he has these doubts. What are the chances that this road is actually the road she's talking about? Does she know what this road is these days? And still, the next day, he's determined to go make an effort at following this road. We'll give ourselves just 20 more seconds here. See if you can get the tailbone back just a little deeper. Get a little more relaxation, a little more space for the spine. When it feels appropriate for you, as it feels appropriate for you, let's slide our hands forward and we'll press ourselves up into hands and knees tabletop. From hands and knees tabletop, curl your toes, lift your seat, find your way into down dog. Get the weight all the way back into the hips. Let's step our right foot straight back and behind us in the three-legged dog, and then step our right leg forward into lunge. Think about the stability of this shape as you start to slide your weight back into your right hamstring. At the same time, think about the stability of the right big toe mound in particular. Like, you don't want that peeling away. You want that rooted and foundationally connected. And then lift your spine like you're trying to get it flat and parallel with the floor. And then exhale back into almost like you're folding towards that right leg or towards the middle of your body. And then we'll bring some strength into our hands and step our right foot back into down dog. And see if you have some asymmetry here. See if you can use that extra right side space to get some depth. Then the left foot extends straight back and behind us. And we'll step the left foot forward into lunge. Once again, think about the stability of this shape, where it is developing from as you start to slide your weight back into your left hamstring. Just enough to activate that left hamstring. And then when it feels appropriate for you, we're going to bring some strength into the hands and step the left foot back and into down dog. Now we should find a little more room in our down dog here. Posterior chain should have a little bit more space for us. Let's try to express that.
And then we're going to slowly, once again, come up onto our tiptoes. Push back in the hands so you stay with that depth, and then walk your way forward, loading the hands as you're coming forward. Release the heels when you get to the front of the mat. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Roll or sweep your way into mountain.
Bring your hands together at heart center. A nice little relaxed landing here. When it feels appropriate for you, let's slide our left foot straight back into lunge. Ground our left heel and roll open to 2. Front foot stays wide, so we have this big hip opening. Big vertical spinal alignment and depth into the leg shape. Then we're going to slide our right leg back and see what it feels like to release towards triangle. Just thinking about how we can find more posterior chain room. If the knee's bent, wonderful. If the knee's not bent, wonderful, right? We're looking for room in the posterior chain here. And we're all going to bend the front knee and tilt our way back up into 2. And bring your hands together at heart center. And as the hands come out, or the shoulders come out of this shape, really, see if you can sink into the hips a little more. See if there's a little more room to drop into. Then the left heel is going to spin up and the hands are going to reach back into crescent. Drop your hands to heart center and step to the front of the mat. Ease here. The foundational stability of mountain just revealing itself is what we're looking for. We have so much room that we can be at ease and be structurally strong. And then we'll take this aside too. Right foot slides straight back. Right heel grounds, we roll to 2. Big vertical torso. We sink our way into the shape. Then when it feels appropriate, we slide back into that left hamstring and just see what it feels like to work our way towards triangle. Just a little release here. Little ease here. And then we'll bend our front knee, draw ourselves up into 2, bring the hands together at heart center. When the shoulders come out of the shape, drop into that extra space. And then the right heel spins up. We sweep the arms to crescent, drop the hands and step to the front of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale through forward fold. Try to find that space on your way to fold. Feel the posterior chain just allowing for depth. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Plant your hands. We'll walk our way into down dog. Come down to hands and knees. Tabletop. Flip the top of the feet. And one last time, we'll sink our way back into child's pose. So last time we'll be here, really think about if there's any available depth that you haven't found. How can you tweak and adjust so that you do find it? So the next day, this man goes to this alleyway that leads to this place that used to be a street. And as he turns into the alleyway, he's immediately hit with this wave of stench. And it's like startling. It's been a while since he's been this close. But he's committed to go see if this road is transversable. When it feels appropriate for you, let's pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. Then we'll extend our legs out in front of us for a little staff. As the legs extend, just follow them forward into fold. And so as he gets closer, he recognizes that there's no way he can travel this road in the outfit he's currently wearing. He goes home, he changes into big, thick boots, heavy pants, and he makes his way back towards this road that has been turned into a garbage dump. We'll give ourselves 60 more seconds here. Think about the softness and ease of your breath and how that, as we get more relaxed in our respiration, we can find more physical space in our body. And then when it feels appropriate for you, let's walk our way up to a vertical spine. And we'll lower ourselves onto our back. The spine is greeted by the mat, or the spine greets the mat. Let's feel the work that we've done thus far in practice. Let that integrate into the body. Be really soft and at ease here. Give ourselves 30 more seconds just to feel the body integrate. And then when it feels appropriate for you, let's let the bottoms of the feet come together and the knees fall out wide. And just land here for a moment. Relaxed and as ease as you can be. So this man, now with these big, thick boots, gets up to the edge of this garbage heap. And he steps in and with his left foot sinks down. And he puts his right foot in, and all his weight shifts into this garbage. He sinks down even further. and he begins to feel something horrifying. The garbage underneath the top layer where he's sunken into has liquefied, and it is rapidly filling his boots. And he tries to recoil, but his boots are like stuck in. And eventually he just falls backwards. And his feet are just being soaked in this liquefied garbage. His boots have become this like container holding the liquefied garbage. He picks himself up and he starts to slosh back to his house. When he gets there, he takes his boots off before he goes inside. He tries to wash them off. But after a couple hours, he gives up completely and throws them away. And that night, as he's sitting inside, he's sitting quietly and thinking about what the oracle had told him, that he needed to follow this road. As well as the horrific reality of this road. Give ourselves just 60 more seconds here. And so, as he is thinking about this, he's realizing that he needs to connect with the oracle again. He can't believe that this is truly what she wants him to be doing. When it feels appropriate, we'll bring our knees back to neutral. Pull our thighs in towards our torso. Give yourself a little squeeze. And then just ask yourself if there's anything that you want, need, would benefit from prior to Shavasana. If there is, let's offer that to ourselves now. Maybe it's a little twist. Practice had a lot of twist in it, but we didn't twist at the end. So maybe you need a little twist. If there's anything at all that would be helpful here, let's offer that. If you're ready for some stillness, then let's drift our way into a shape where we can appreciate just that. And we'll get just nice and relaxed here. So the next morning, with this idea that he needs to speak with the oracle again, he makes the determination he's going to march up to her house without an invitation. And before sunrise, that's exactly what he does. Just your version of stillness, ease and rest here. so that morning before sunrise, he goes to the Oracle's house. When he gets there, she's outside. And even though it's rather dark, she sees him. And she's very confused. She calls him over and says, "What are you doing here? I told you to follow the road." And he starts going into the reasons why he hasn't, expressing the stench and the way his boots were ruined. He says, there has to be another way, Oracle. There has to be another path, another road. We'll start to bring some movement to our fingers and our toes, into our wrists and our ankles, our elbows, knees. Shoulders, hips, neck, head, jaw, eyes, tongue. Eventually, the entirety of our body will move, and we'll utilize that movement to transition to a seat. In the seated space, let your spine get tall, your breath get fluid, and your eyes close. The Oracle listens to everything, and she says, "There are many other roads, and there are many other paths. They won't lead you to where you want to go." Bring your hands together at heart center. Over the course of the next 7 days, can you remind yourself that in life, we are almost never without a path to anywhere we want to go, even if we don't like where it starts. See how that changes your experience. Thank you so much for being a part of this evening's practice and for being you. Namaste. Happy Monday, guys. Appreciate the heck out of you being here, taking care of yourself, getting some movement in. I'll be back next Sunday to recharge, and we'll do this again next Monday. Love you. Have a beautiful week. Mwah.